In this video, I'm going to talk about a dream with a combination of revelations about a fire evacuation and who the woman in the dream was that would come true 6 years later. Some names have been changed to protect their privacy. In 1997, my kids were in second and third grades. My grandmother was living with us, and my focus was on taking care of my grandmother and volunteering at my kids' school. I was still fairly consistent with keeping my dream journal, which I had made a habit of for years. Things with my husband and I were deteriorating, but we were still giving it a try, or so I thought. Then, after a couple of years of counseling and no progress, he would move out in 2000 and quickly get serious with a woman he had worked with for several years. She was very into creating textiles, sewing, and quilting. On their first Christmas together, she gave me a quilted table runner, and she offered to teach my daughter to sew. I had no idea that I had already dreamed about her years before. My grandmother had passed away in 1998 and was no longer with us. August 10th, 1997, I dreamed a big disaster was going to happen. Either a fire or a storm was going to come. We were trying to get out before it came. I saw workers there, men who were strong. Then I ended up at a woman's house. She had kids. My daughter was interested in some of the toys they had there. I was taking some toys and clothing to their house. There were some things from Okinawa, where we had lived for a few years recently. I saw a yellow quilt somewhere. The lady of the house sewed. October 25th, 2003. The Cedar Fire erupted from a lost hunter setting a signal fire. There were already 11 other fires in the region. Santa Ana winds raged and 6,000 acres burned per hour. We got the alert to evacuate our area. I had a lot of pets, so I was going to stay at the house with them. But by then I was divorced and my ex-husband Paul had remarried. They lived about 20 minutes away from me and their area was not under evacuation, so I took the kids to their house just to be cautious. His new wife Caroline indeed made quilts. It was a big thing for her and she had a room devoted to sewing projects. She seemed to always have projects going on, usually as gifts for family. There were things from Okinawa there that my ex had taken when we divorced, and I brought things that belonged to my kids. Thankfully, my neighborhood was spared, but over 2,200 homes were destroyed, 150 of those in our community, and 15 people were killed. Over 280,000 acres were burned, and it was very sad and tragic and took many families years to recover. By 2005, only a third of the families whose homes were destroyed had moved back. The fire came as close to my house as just a few blocks away. There was smoke and ash for days. Everything outside was covered in ash. The smell of smoke was heavy and terrifying. The sky was full of smoke for a long time. Needless to say, this was a massive event in my area. People who evacuated were not allowed to return for weeks, even though their homes may have been okay. I was lucky to have stayed home, or I might have been stuck out somewhere, and I had too many pets. I had 3 dogs and parrots at that time. I would find additional dreams with reference to the quilt lady before I ever met her. I was pretty well flabbergasted to discover I had dreamt several times about my husband's second wife years before we even separated. There just hadn't been enough information to tell me enough of the story to recognize it at the time. Dreaming of having to evacuate and taking my kids to a house that turned out to be where he would live with his second wife. Kind of a whammy when you realize you got that information while you were still trying to work things out. While I've been dedicated to recording and reviewing my dreams to see what shows up, occasionally it feels like a sucker punch when I come across something like this. But Keeping a dream journal is a direct link to the magic of our dreams, and the experiences you may encounter can be awe-inspiring and even life-changing. If you would like to power up your dream recall, check out my video, 10 Ways to Improve Dream Recall. It's never too late to start keeping a dream journal. Why not start today? There are going to be many more stories like this on my channel. If you want to see more videos like this, please help support my channel by liking and subscribing. Hit that subscribe button now and leave a comment below. Perhaps share a dream of your own with us. I'll be checking out the comments below. If you want to learn even more, there is a link to my book in the description below for Sleeping with Spirit, A Journey with Psychic Dreams. I hope you found this interesting. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Sweet dreams.